The name Savitri Devi might ring a bell for some, but it often evokes confusion. This confusion stems from the fact that there were two notable women who bore this name, each leading vastly different lives, and leaving behind contrasting legacies. These two women, despite sharing the same name, could not have been more different in their ideologies, actions, and the marks they left on history. One of them, Savitri Devi was a beacon of progress in India. She was a champion of Indian independence, a dedicated educator and a symbol of hope and empowerment for many. The other, Maximiani Julia Portas, who adopted the name Savitri Devi, is the subject of this essay. Her life and actions stand in stark contrast to those of Savitri Devi Suri. Maximiani Julia Portas, under the name Savitri Devi, was marked by a dangerous fascination with Nazi ideology. She fervently believed in its twisted tenets and dedicated her life to promoting these harmful beliefs. Born in 1905, Savitri Devi was a complicated figure whose life was filled with contradictions and controversies. She was a prolific writer and a fervent ideologue, producing numerous works that were deeply rooted in hatred and prejudice. Her writings continue to be a source of controversy and debate. This essay delves into her life, exploring the formative experiences that shaped her worldview and the dangerous path she chose. It examines the influences and events that led her to embrace such a destructive ideology. By shedding light on her controversial legacy, this essay aims to present a cautionary tale. It serves as a reminder of the dangers of extremist beliefs and the impact they can have on history. It is crucial to differentiate between these two women, as confusing them diminishes the contributions of Savitri Devi Suri, the true Indian patriot. Her efforts in education and independence were monumental and should not be overshadowed. While Suri fought for freedom and justice, Savitri Devi embraced an ideology that stood for oppression and hate. This stark contrast highlights the importance of understanding their distinct legacies. This distinction is paramount to understanding the gravity of Savitri Devi's choices and the dangers inherent in her beliefs. By examining her life, we can better understand the impact of extremist ideologies and the importance of promoting tolerance and understanding in our world. Maximiani Julia Portas, later known as Savitri Devi, was born in France in 1905 to a family of mixed Greek and Italian heritage. Her early years were spent in a culturally rich environment, surrounded by the diverse traditions and languages of her heritage. Her upbringing was unconventional, marked by a nomadic lifestyle and a deep immersion in books. The family traveled extensively, exposing young Maximiani to various cultures and ideas, which fueled her curiosity and broadened her horizons. Even as a child, she displayed a keen intellect and a thirst for knowledge, devouring literature and philosophy with equal fervor. Her passion for reading was insatiable, and she often spent hours lost in the pages of books, exploring different worlds and ideas. Her early education played a significant role in shaping her worldview. She attended various schools, each contributing to her growing understanding of the world and her place in it. She excelled in her studies, particularly in history and classical literature, developing a fascination with ancient civilizations and their belief systems. This interest in the past and its ideologies became a cornerstone of her intellectual pursuits. This fascination, however, took a darker turn as she delved into racial theories prevalent in the early 20th century. These theories, which were gaining popularity at the time, captivated her imagination and began to influence her thinking. These theories, often based on pseudoscience and prejudice, promoted the idea of racial hierarchies, with certain races deemed superior to others. The flawed and dangerous nature of these ideas did not deter her. Instead, they seemed to resonate with her growing ideological beliefs. These ideas took root in young Maximiani's mind, laying the foundation for her later embrace of Nazi ideology. Her voracious reading habits now included controversial and extremist literature, which further solidified her radical views. Her early exposure to these dangerous concepts, coupled with her own intellectual curiosity, set her on a path that would lead her down a dark and troubling road. The seeds of her future beliefs were sown in these formative years, influenced by the books she read and the ideas she encountered. As Maximiani matured, her interest in racial theories and her admiration for ancient civilizations coalesced into a dangerous fascination with Nazi Germany. Her early academic pursuits and readings on ancient cultures laid the groundwork for her later ideological leanings. She was drawn to the Nazi Party's rhetoric of racial purity, and its vision of a new world order dominated by the Aryan race. The powerful imagery and speeches of the Nazi leaders captivated her, reinforcing her belief in their cause. This fascination soon morphed into full-fledged support, and she became a vocal proponent of Nazi ideology. She began to actively participate in Nazi events and spread their propaganda, becoming a well-known figure among Nazi sympathizers. Her embrace of Nazism was not merely a political stance, it was deeply intertwined with her esoteric beliefs. She believed that the Nazi symbols and rituals had a mystical significance that resonated with her spiritual views. She saw in Hitler a messianic figure, a savior destined to lead the Aryan race to its rightful place of dominance. Her writings often depicted him as a divine leader, chosen by fate to restore the world to its natural order. This belief was further solidified during her travels to India, where she immersed herself in Hinduism and its ancient scriptures. She studied the texts meticulously, seeking connections between Hindu philosophy and Nazi ideology. She drew parallels between the Hindu caste system and the Nazi racial hierarchy, interpreting them as expressions of a natural order where the strong ruled the weak. This interpretation reinforced her belief in the superiority of the Aryan race. This fusion of Nazi ideology with Hindu beliefs formed the bedrock of her unique and dangerous worldview, a worldview that was both controversial and influential among certain circles. A worldview that she would spend her life propagating through her writings and activism. Her books and public speeches aimed to spread her beliefs, attracting followers and sparking debates. Section 4. Espionage and Disillusionment in the Raj. With the outbreak of World War II, Savitri Devi's commitment to the Nazi cause deepened. She relocated to India, then under British rule, and became actively involved in espionage activities. Working undercover, she gathered intelligence for the Axis powers, hoping to aid their war effort and undermine British colonial rule. Her time in India was marked by a blend of clandestine activities and intellectual pursuits. She continued to delve deeper into Hindu scriptures, further solidifying her belief in the interconnectedness of Nazism and Hinduism. However, as the war progressed and the tide turned against the Axis powers, Savitri Devi experienced a growing sense of disillusionment. The defeat of Nazi Germany was a devastating blow to her. She refused to accept the atrocities committed by the Nazi regime, clinging to her idealized vision of a racially pure and hierarchical world. This denial and her unwavering belief in the righteousness of her cause would continue to shape her life and work in the decades that followed. After the war, Savitri Devi channeled her disillusionment into writing. She became a prolific author, producing numerous works that espoused her extremist views. Her books, filled with hatred and bigotry, sought to keep the Nazi ideology alive. She glorified Adolf Hitler, portraying him as a divine figure. Her writings were not just political but also deeply spiritual, blending her admiration for Hinduism with her Nazi beliefs. This fusion created a unique and toxic ideology that attracted a small but dedicated following. Despite the widespread condemnation of Nazism, Savitri Devi remained unrepentant, using her words to spread her dangerous ideas. Savitri Devi's influence did not end with her writings. Her toxic legacy continued to inspire neo-Nazi and white supremacist groups around the world. Her works were translated into multiple languages, reaching a global audience. She became a symbol for those who sought to revive and perpetuate the hateful ideologies of the past. Her life and work serve as a chilling reminder of the enduring power of extremist beliefs. Even decades after her death, her ideas continue to pose a threat to peace and tolerance. The persistence of her legacy underscores the importance of vigilance against hate and intolerance in all its forms. Savitri Devi's life is a stark warning from history. It shows how dangerous and destructive extremist ideologies can be. Her unwavering commitment to Nazism, despite overwhelming evidence of its atrocities, highlights the peril of blind fanaticism. Her story reminds us that hatred and bigotry can find fertile ground in any era, and that it is our responsibility to confront and challenge these ideologies wherever they arise. By learning from the past, we can work towards a future where such toxic beliefs are consigned to history. Let Savitri Devi's life serve as a cautionary tale, urging us to remain vigilant and committed to the values of peace, tolerance, and humanity.